Lucian, I don't disagree with any of that. But I'm a little embarrassed. I thought my assignment today was to write a poem in honor of Bill Muse. I call this Bill Muse. B is for the beauty you bring into our life. No, I don't. So the difficulty in working with vice presidents and presidents and organizational leaders generally is that we don't lack for confidence. Now, I know probably you have a hard time believing that given your vice president. He's just a wallflower, basically. But most VPs have perhaps even an inflated sense of confidence. And on the one hand, that's a great thing. You don't want organizational leaders to be scared or cowering or not being able to make a decision. But confidence is also potentially the most dangerous thing too, because our confidence so often leads us to believe that, well, we're right. And we may be right on occasion because we believe something to be so, but we're not right all the time just because we think we are. And institutional research typically finds themselves thrown into the midst of this psychological drama and are asked to play Dr. Phil to the organizational leaders with which they work. That is difficult work. And in my experience, very few IR offices actually do this well. The hard part isn't, I don't think, conducting the statistical analysis and setting up the evaluative work. I suspect there's a YouTube video that can teach us all how to do that sort of stuff. And it isn't even delivering bad news when that has to be delivered. I think the hard part of being a really good IR office is being charmer, contrarian, confidant, relentless cheerleader, relentless doomsayer, and on occasion, a sort of priest. The hard part really is getting people to hear. Lots of people can generate data. Very few people can take data and convincingly and compellingly say, here's what it means, and here's what we should do based on this data. Especially to people who were confident they knew what to do before they were bothered with all that pesky data in the first place. And Lucian and the IR office he's created in a very short amount of time, less than 1 year still, right, Lucian? They've been able to do just that. He has our ears, and that separates his shop from the thousands of other IR offices that exist in higher education today. Now, I think the other thing that's really essential for an IR office to have is style. Lucian's not there yet, but he's working on it, and I believe that one day he'll bring style to the office. We're believing you, Lucian. There was a famous musical, famous primarily because it was a tremendous flop, that came out in 1976 that was called 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And it was a play, not surprisingly, about the White House and all of the people that inhabited it. And although it was Leonard Bernstein's last original score for Broadway, it only made it through 17 performances. And Bernstein reportedly was so disgusted with the whole process that he refused to make a cast recording of the performance, which is something these Broadway musicals typically do. And it was really only many years later and after his death that his heirs and associates gave permission for this stunningly beautiful, if entirely unconventional, music to reach a wide audience. I was reminded of it when Bill asked me to speak this morning because of a song that the Abigail Adams character sings to one of the servants in the house. So Abigail was married to John Adams, and they were one of our early presidents, of course. And it's this very interesting moment where the First Lady, someone of immense power and importance, and especially this First Lady, if you know anything about your American history, Abigail Adams may have run the country as much as John Adams did. It's this very interesting moment when the First Lady reminds someone who is behind the scenes, or perhaps on the garden level, I describe it, that he has tremendous power and responsibility. And Abigail sings this, and it probably applies to all of you, but especially true, Lucian, for you in your office. She says, "Take care of this house, keep it from harm. If bandits break in, sound the alarm. Care for this house, shine it by hand, and keep it so clean the glow can be seen all over the land. Be careful at night. Check all the doors. If someone makes off with a dream, the dream will be yours. Take care of this house. Be always on call, for this house is the home of us all. And so in so many ways, what we ask institutional research to do for us, check the doors, watch out the windows for what's coming, alert us in time. In so many ways, that's a thankless job, because once the alarm is sounded, we focus on the trouble and not on the warning that ultimately led perhaps to our salvation. But this morning, I've been given a few minutes to draw attention to the man who is always on call, and to acknowledge and thank Lucian for his work as Director of Institutional Research and for taking care of this house. Thank you, Lucian.